That's right. Members of a family from East Hampton now feared dead after their private plane went down in Virginia yesterday. The people on board reportedly a mother, a daughter, a nanny, and a pilot. The small jet causing a major reaction after it entered restricted airspace, triggering the military to scramble F-16 fighter jets to investigate. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimber.
This morning, some near the nation's capital are still rattled after a quiet Sunday was interrupted with this.
It was very jarring.
We thought it was probably an earthquake.
A sonic boom, startling residents across the region. This couple in Fairfax, Virginia, was recording a song when the boom causes them to leap out of their seat. The Capitol and White House were both briefly placed on high alert. The sound was caused by two D.C. Air National Guard F-16s that were scrambled from Maryland after a Cessna business jet entered restricted airspace over the nation's capital. Around 3 p.m., those F-16s going supersonic to catch up with the Cessna, creating a sonic boom heard in D.C. and surrounding areas. The F-16s intercepting the plane using flares in an attempt to draw the pilot's attention, but were unsuccessful. 10 minutes later, the plane crashing near George Washington National Forest in Virginia with 4 people on board.
When the D.C. Air National Guard F-16s eventually caught up to this aircraft, they looked in the cockpit and they could see that the pilot was slumped over and unconscious.
Aviation experts say hypoxia may have incapacitated the pilot and those on board.
The most likely scenario here is that there was some loss of pressurization, which induced hypoxia. Hypoxia is just the loss of consciousness due to lack of oxygen. You may not even know that it's coming on until you lose consciousness.
As for Sunday's crash, the man who runs the Florida-based company that owns the jet tells the Washington Post his daughter and 2-year-old granddaughter, her nanny, and the pilot were on the flight. He says they were returning home to Long Island after a visit to his North Carolina home. Flight tracking data shows the plane made it to Long Island but didn't land, instead turning and heading straight to the D.C. area. Those F-16s were scrambled from Joint Base Andrews, where President Biden was playing golf with his brother at around the same time. Overnight, Virginia police say they reached the crash site and found no survivors. Andrew Dimber, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Around Washington, D.C. was interrupted by a loud boom. The moment was captured by home security cameras and vloggers working on the next folk music sensation. The first word from official sources was the noise was a sonic boom caused by military jets doing an exercise. Then word emerged of the crash of a civilian airplane in the mountains near Stanton, Virginia. Was it related to the sonic boom? Was the government lying to us? Social media lit up with questions and conspiracy theories and in some cases, actual facts. So let's focus on the facts and try to piece together what actually happened here. A Cessna Citation with tail number N611 Victor Golf, owned by Encore Motors, launched out of Elizabethton, Tennessee, bound for MacArthur Airport on Long Island. There were 4 souls on board, a pilot, the daughter and granddaughter of John Rumpel, who's the owner of Encore Motors, and a nanny. The flight path readout shows the airplane accelerated to about 500 miles per hour as it climbed up to 34,000 feet, headed up the East Coast towards Long Island. Over the destination, the airplane suddenly made a left turn and steadied up on a southwesterly heading. The Citation pilot wasn't answering comms from air traffic control, and the flight path was taking the jet right over the heart of Washington, D.C. Fearing the potential of a terrorist event, the FAA jumped on the hotline to NORAD, and NORAD scrambled 2 F-16s out of Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland, just outside of D.C., call sign Brave, and 2 F-16s out of Atlantic City Air National Guard Base, call sign Cosmic. The standard loadout of Air National Guard alert aircraft is 2 AMRAAM medium-range active missiles, 2 AIM-9.
A few moments later.
Far from this, Washington, D.C., when fighter jets caused a sonic boom that shook entire neighborhoods. 6 F-16 jets scrambled to intercept a small plane that had entered restricted airspace after making a strange U-turn. Federal investigators say the plane, a Cessna business jet, eventually crashed in northern Virginia after flying over Washington, D.C. It appears there were no survivors. Jeff Begaze is in Greenville, Virginia, not far from this crash site. Jeff, good morning. Seems like a very sad story. What are we learning?
Well, good morning, Tony. This is where that search was focused overnight. You can see behind me, it's a fairly rural area, and so investigators and search crews really didn't have a lot of light to work with as they were searching for that plane. We know this morning that there were 4 people on board the plane, and fighter jets were scrambled when the people on board did not respond to air traffic control. The cause of the crash remains under investigation, but today military officials insist that they did not shoot down that plane. A sonic boom
built on legends, and that legends are a way of understanding things greater than ourselves, forces that shape our lives, events that defy explanation, individuals whose lives soar to the heavens or fall to the earth. This is how legends are born.